Hello, this is James Arthur Ray, the author of the New York Times bestseller, Harmonic Wealth, and my latest book, Life Unleashed, How to Live Life on Your Own Terms, Harness Your Unique Genius, and Have Maximum Impact on the World. Now, we've been going through a series here over the last several weeks on stress. I hope that you're caught up. If you're not, go back and watch the earlier videos because these unfold in succession. And if you've been watching along and following along, hopefully you're having a shift in your conscious awareness around how you frame your life, what your objectives are, how you think life should be, and how you live. You see, ultimately, the objective of life is to live. And there's a big difference between living and merely existing. You with me? Vast difference. The vast majority of individuals are just existing, living day to day to day. You know, as we've already discussed, 71% of those people surveyed are not happy, fulfilled, and engaged in their job. They're hitting the snooze and hitting the snooze and hitting the snooze and finally dragging themselves out and thinking, oh my God, I got to go there one more day. Stress. We've looked at a lot of science here from a variety of fields. I hope this has been a game changer for you. We're not done yet. Because last time, and several times actually, we've talked about that we've been conditioned, you've been conditioned, heavily conditioned, that you want a life of leisure. That's not true. Whether you're consciously aware of it or not, psychological research proves conclusively that you're most happy, engaged, excited, inspired, and fulfilled when you're working, when you're going after a goal, when you're doing something to push the envelope of your own comfort zone and your own potentiality. And yet, time and time again, even though that's proven, when asked, do you want to work longer and harder, or would you like to have more leisure? People go, oh, I'd love to have more leisure, even though you're not happy when you're at leisure. You know, you think that you're recuperating when you're sitting in front of the plug-in drug, also known as the television. You're not. And you're not happy either. You're escaping. It's an escape mechanism. You reach for the bottle, and you think that that's going to ease your pain, and you know it doesn't. In fact, if you reach too much, it makes even more pain, right? And so we've talked about this quite a bit, and a large percentage of it creates stress in our lives because of conditioning. And here's where I want to step off into our next leap forward. This idea of the conditioning that I've just briefly described, and I've talked about it in the previous videos. I just hopefully caught you up a little bit. The Autotelic Personality. Auto meaning self, telic meaning goal setting. The Autotelic Personality is proven time and again in psychological research to be the most happy, fulfilled, and engaged personality. What is an Autotelic Personality? An Autotelic Personality is a person who is driven and is consciously driven by intrinsic goals versus extrinsic goals and objectives. Intrinsic intentions versus extrinsic intentions. Let me give you a prime example. The Rolls-Royce Ghost costs about $270,000, and it goes up from there. Now, you know, you've been conditioned, as have I, that a Rolls-Royce is the epitome of a car, right? I mean, if you could drive around in a Rolls-Royce, boy, wouldn't everyone think you were just, you know, at the top of your game. $270,000, that's a rolling mortgage. Now, am I against the Rolls-Royce Ghost? No. No, if that's where you want to put your money, you know, I'm not going to do it, and I never would do it. Even when I thought I could do it, I wouldn't do it because it just didn't make logical sense to me. But many people do. And what's the point? Well, let's go to the BMW 7 Series. Do you know that Rolls-Royce is owned by BMW? The BMW 7 Series, nice car. You can get those starting at about $200,000 less than the Rolls-Royce Ghost. You say, well, James, a BMW 7 Series is not a Rolls-Royce Ghost. Really? Now, I'll give you that maybe some of the exterior trimmings are different and some of the interior design is different, but do you know that they're made by the same company? Do you know that they're almost the same identical car? In fact, rumor has it that they're built on the same chassis. Now, why is it that you can get a BMW 7 Series, a really nice car, for nearly $200,000 less than you can get a Rolls-Royce Ghost? Well, because of conditioning. Now, you might want to argue with me that the Rolls-Royce Ghost is much more luxurious and it drives much smoother. Yeah, okay. All right. But really, $200,000 more? So why is it that some people do that? Well, it's extrinsic motivation, extrinsic goals. You see, the Autotelic personality is not conditioned by society. Oh, he or she has been conditioned, but they break away from that conditioning. Remember, Life Unleashed is about living life on your own terms. It's about developing an autotelic personality and mindset. It's about becoming autonomous, defining your own life and your own goals and your own intentions, not what society tells you you should have. Because, you see, if we're really honest, if you're like most, and I said, hey, you can have the keys to a BMW 7 Series or you can have this Rolls-Royce Ghost, which would you take? Most would take the Rolls-Royce. Why? Because of conditioning, because of extrinsic motivation and intentions. We're going to get more attention in a Rolls-Royce. We're going to seem more successful. We're going to be more admired. We're going to look greater, grander, right? All extrinsics. But see, psychological research proves to us that we are most happy, engaged, and fulfilled when we're fulfilling our intrinsic values and intentions. Now here's the rub. You see, even over here with the Rolls-Royce Ghost or the multi-million-dollar business or the big house or fill in the blank, we're still intrinsically motivated. Because why do we buy the Rolls-Royce? Not because of the car, but because how we think it's going to make us feel. Intrinsic. How we're going to feel inside. You see, the difference of the person who is leashed and limited versus the person who is unleashed and unlimited is that they break away and they start to look at life more clearly. And they say, this is what's important to me. I'm not going to pursue the money. I'm going to pursue my love. And if the money comes with it, then that's great. If it doesn't, I'm still doing what I love. You see, there's more stress created from externals that drive internals than any other thing. Did you follow that? It's all about internal. It's all about intrinsic. But the individual who is heavily conditioned, who is not autotelic, is driven by externals to allow them to feel. What's going on out here is creating in them the feelings. The autotelic person is creating their own feelings because they're setting their own goals and intentions and they're going about them and they're living life fully. Hence, stress starts to diminish because we're not comparing ourselves to other people. We're not comparing ourselves to some standard that we've been told we should be striving towards. We're setting our own path. We're harnessing our own unique genius. And thereby, we have maximum impact on the world and we leave a lasting legacy. Does that make sense to you? I hope you're getting to Life Unleashed live. Because if you're enjoying the concepts here, this is just barely scratching the surface of what we're going to dive deeply into. The strategy, skills, techniques in that live event. You can learn more about it at the end of this video. Until we speak again, I hope I've given you some things to think about. As always, stay awake, love life, and be epic.